Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here. Of course, my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo and Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up this morning. Let's wake up here this morning, guys. Man, it's early. The sun's not even up yet. I've actually got to go on the road because I got to take care of some skylights that are leaking for a lady that's not in the neighborhood, so to speak. So we're going to be on the road most of the day and see if we can get this squared away, because that bill that she got for $11,000 she can't quite swallow, not for me, and going to see if we can help her out and get it squared away. It appears that I set off a firestorm because I'm getting all kinds of hate from the Washington football fans this morning. I literally had a little issue last night with YouTube, their algorithm, their checks. I was showing the clip of Micah Parsons getting drafted by the Cowboys and all that. They had music in the background, so it ended up cutting out the music and stuff on there, so that's why it's silent on there. And it literally took like an hour and a half for that video to go through the whole checks and stuff. I think it's just that between like 5 and 8 o'clock that everybody is uploading videos, so I guess the system gets slowed down. And after that, I ended up doing a video about the Washington football team, because, right now everybody is doing what they always do. It seems to be that they forget that half of the teams that make the playoffs one year don't the next. It's like a battle of attrition. But if you look at all of the polls right now of teams, they basically take everybody who's a playoff team, well, they're a top 10 team. They don't ever take into consideration that normal rate of failure, because it's always going to end up being some teams that you didn't think were going to be there. Who thought that Washington was going to win the NFC East last year? Nobody did. So I went through and I did the paperwork on it, and it shocked me that it was as bad as it actually was. Over the course of the last 16 seasons, only 2 teams didn't lose more games the year following winning the division. They broke even. But none of the teams have won the division again. In fact, some years it's been as many as 8 more losses. There are a bunch of 7s in there, 6s, 4s. But nobody has won more victories the following year in the NFC. Now, that's not to say that Washington can't break the trend. Maybe they'll be the exception as opposed to the rule. But on average, the team that wins the division in the NFC East the following year has 4.1 more losses. So if that holds true, and this, keep in mind, has had 3 teams win the Super Bowl and come back the next year and not win the division again, then that doesn't bode well for the Washington football team. So that's what I put out in my video. I didn't do the fireside chat, although I did have a fire going. I actually did it at my sports desk. I'm totally in love with the sports desk outside. I've been out there in the rain. Yesterday it was windy as could be. Been out there for the draft, and I can't wait to be out there for football games and having some of you fans here. And, the way things seem to be going with the COVID situation, we're going to have a lot of fans here on game day. If we're not in Dallas, or if we're not at FedEx or New York or whatever for a game, we're going to be here. We're going to have quite a few people here watching the games together. So shout out to all of you great fans that have helped me out into getting the studio and stuff set up. So we have Micah Parsons has his number. He's taking Cedric Wilson's 11. And, I'm old school, i.e. I'm old. And I remember Danny White, a quarterback, having 11. And, this is one of those things that it just feels weird. to me. You know, I was always used to linebackers being in the 50s and things, and quarterbacks being 11s, and Cedric Wilson now has one, which used to be like a kicker's number. They wonder, and I wonder why I feel like I got dementia, because I keep looking at numbers and I'm all confused. And I think I understand now what Tom Brady was saying about the numbers changes, that it was going to make football play more difficult. It's more difficult for me because I don't know what position you play again. Damn. Okay. All right. So be that as it may. The Dallas Cowboys, and as we go through and we project what's going to happen, and again, you can assume all that you want. You can look at the Washington football team and say they had a great defense, young player. Forgive me. It's 6 a.m. Forgive me. You can look at the Washington football team and say, well, they had a great defense last year that's young. They'll get better. That maybe Ryan Fitzpatrick will end up bringing more stability to it. It'll be Ron Rivera's second year. They've gotten past now not being the Washington Redskins anymore. They know that they're just the W and all that stuff, and that maybe some of the controversy with Dan Snyder is behind them, and that they should be able to go ahead and take another step. That's what you look at and say, that they're actually a much better built team with Ron Rivera. But now you have the target on your back. So the question is, with the Dallas Cowboys ending up third in the division, playing like ass, okay, will the Cowboys be better? 6-10. They should be, if for no other reason, if this comes true, and that's health. We had Ben DiNucci starting a game. We had Double G starting a game, and we had Andy Dalton starting a lot of games. If Dak Prescott, who says his foot is healed and he could play today, that's not to say he's 100% healed, because every football player basically plays at some point injured and hurt. It's just the nature of the beast. If Dak plays, that alone should make the team better. The Cowboys are really hedging their bet on two players. We see Zeke Elliott, he's working out like crazy. I'm glad to see it. It seems like he's got a bounce in his step. Doesn't look like he's got any gut or anything like that. He looks good, but, looking good in the offseason versus being out on the field are two different things. But Zeke Elliott will look really good if Tyron Smith can stay upright all season, as well as Lyle Collins. That's the bet for the Cowboys, is they need those two guys. If those two guys can stay healthy and play the majority of the season, then you have to look at the Cowboys and say, okay, yeah, they're much improved. And on the defensive side, they got nowhere to go but up. Our defense last year, I don't care how you try and sugarcoat it, try and say they got better as the season got on. That's bullshit. They played the tougher teams, the worst teams at the end of the season. You can't judge a defense on playing against Cincinnati, where Joe Burrow didn't even play. San Francisco, that was on fourth-string quarterback. Washington, who their quarterback play was ass as well. Giants, Eagles. Okay, so they played better against those guys. Our defense won't have to be the 85 Bears. If they can just take the football away and stop the run just a little bit more, just improve. If they can get two stops a game, I think that we've got a chance to win our division. And I'm not going to go hog wild like some people. Oh, we're going to the Super Bowl. We're going to go 7. No, don't start that. Don't start that. Baby steps. Let's just see if we can try and win the division and make the playoffs. How about that? Let's start there. And from then, all bets are off. With that being said, I need to go get the truck packed and hit the road again because, as they always tell me, don't quit your day job because there's no future for you in sports broadcasting. You know the drill.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
See you guys on the road.